Tonight on Hitasa, we look into the prolific works of visual artist and designer Cyprian Kiswili, as well as insights on capturing moments and creating memories as an integral part of man's way of life today.
Consistently just doing that makes you just better at it because you're practicing the craft unknowingly, but you become better and better at it, and people know you for that.
Thoughts, feelings, and emotions revolve around different moments in our lives. The ability to capture moments gives us the ability to re-experience the most incredible days in your memory. From our ancestral ways of carving and drawing on stone, capturing moments and creating memories has evolved into photography and videography. These two have not only defined social life, but also become income earners for many looking to document events, key happenings in life like weddings, and storytelling through films, features, and documentaries. For Gatehi Mwaneki, a videographer, his journey stems from his earliest memories of his own captured moments.
I think when I was about maybe like 7 years old, I'd seen like a picture of myself like 2 years back. And I think the first thing that went to my mind is how differently I perceived myself. And it was interesting to see like a different version of yourself. I wouldn't say it was like the most special moment for me, especially in terms of photography, but I remember it got me curious about how cameras actually work. And also it like had me tinkering with cameras and like seeing how like film works and all that, mostly breaking the film, but it was still an interesting experience to fiddle around with the cameras and see like, okay, what goes into like putting me in this moment in time.
His inspiration to capture would grow from those early beginnings as a curious lad as he found more resolve for what he wanted to do with his life.
I think without like the interaction with camera equipment when I was young, because my late father was interested in the same things like camera stuff and like video cameras and all these things. So it was just in the house, so just tinkering with those things gave me like a very big interest in like just like taking as many photos as I could. So I was usually the guy who would have like a Kodak camera with film when we went for like holidays, and then like I'd come back and like ask my folks, can we develop these pictures? So it really like drove me to be very passionate about capturing images of things. So consistently just doing that makes you just better at it because you're practicing the craft unknowingly, but you become better and better at it, and people know you for that. And eventually now getting to university, I felt like this thing, I could turn it into something I could use for work because it's my passion. It's the thing I love doing the most. So if there's a way I can make a career out of it, even better. So that led me to convince my folks, like, can I now pursue something, even if it's close to just like being a camera person or creating images or stories, just let me try out something like that. And that led to one thing and another, and I found myself, you know, in the profession.
With the advent of technology came capturing moments through the digital lens, and not just that, also the ability to replicate and share those moments through the internet.
Capturing moments and memories is the forefront of like human socialization right now. It's literally the one thing that people are doing consistently on a daily life. Back in the day, before like social media became a thing, most of the time if you want to take a picture, like you'd have to go somewhere to have someone take a picture of you. Now it's just, you know, at the fingertips. Like it's literally a core thing of people in this day and age. And even like when you look at children and like, you know, you could give them toys, like give them a phone with a camera, and they'll pick up the phone with the camera and like start taking pictures of things. So it's like become an integral part of humanity almost. So. And I think it's like something innate about us, about capturing things, because, you know, nowadays it's like photos and videos, but before it was like painting and it was like putting things on stone. We've always had that like idea of putting something, a moment down in time and saying, this is how it was, this is the thing that we experienced.
The ease of capturing moments today remains in question, as there has been extremes with people not knowing where to draw the line and being resourceful to help, or in other scenarios, just being in the moment.
Social media has given people a free rein to just say like, you know, capturing the most viral thing possible is what's going to get you, like, you know, viral on those pages. So human beings are slowly but surely becoming a bit desensitized because of these things. And as videographers, I think there's also a separation between professionals and people who just capture casually or capture for whatever reason it is. There's definitely a difference in why we do it. So I think people just need to learn to literally live in the moment and not try and consistently picture it. And in fact, there's always this kind of viral videos I see online about whenever like photographers, videographers go to like a family function or like out with family, people are like, you're not taking photos of us today. It's like, no, allow people to be human beings, right? Allow people to live in those moments as well as you want to live in them. So social media definitely has played a part in it, and I feel like there's a few people who've realized this, but also there are people who, you know, go the other route.
Gatehi identifies with notable moments in his career thus far, notwithstanding the challenges that are part of their profession.
The one thing that has stood out in my career path, and I think will continue to be like the highlight of my career for like the longest time, is when I was in university, Daystar University, we had a film competition where our films won several awards, and that night, till this day, is one of the greatest moments of my life. We were not expecting to win anything. We had gone through other film competitions where we were, you know, not even considered in the top contenders. So that night, just winning award after award after award was like, it was mind-blowing for me, and it opened so many doors for me as well, and also like helped convince my parents, like, you know, I know what I'm doing. Like, you know, every parent, you have to convince them, like, yeah, you know, as an artist, that yeah, I actually know what I'm doing. So I was like the one day that, you know, I could come back to my folks and show them, yeah, this is definitely something I'm good at, and make them proud as well. There's always going to be a wonderful set of clients that understand how you work, understand your rates and all these things, and there's always going to be an equal batch of other clients who just are not the best to work with, is the lightest way I can put it, but it's just like everything in life. It's not going to be perfect. The journey is going to be rough, but it's how you see the good moments, you know. Remember the good moments, remember the good clients, working with people who are great, working with great teams to achieve certain projects, goals.
A professional perspective of capturing moments comes with the need for one to balance their creative prowess and the demands of the different sets of clients.
As you deal with different clients, there's you can always tell where there's like a give-take between where your input is needed and where their vision stands. So I tend to work with a mix of both. I like that there are some clients that know what they want, and they're just like, you know, maybe chime in your creativity here and there. I've never met a client who's like very hard and heavy on, this is what I want and you can't tell me otherwise. And I've also worked with clients who are like, you have free reign, you know, envision anything and everything you want for this project. And they let me just design the whole video. Maybe it's like a music video or something. They let me conjure up whatever shots will be needed. So there's kind of a balance there where you're allowed to grow creativity. And I think about videography and photography as well is you're not limited to the business aspect of your work just being the one place where you can practice your art. You can go out on a day that you're not shooting for clients to just film something for yourself. Or if you can find a studio, you can just go do a passion project, and that lets you build your creativity.
Creativity sometimes is shelved when it comes at the expense of making money for some in videography and photography, but as Gatehi indicates, it is not good for growth.
If a low budget project comes along, we tend to have this idea of don't think about it, don't be creative on it, which I think is not a very good approach to the whole thing. I feel like we need to be as creative as we can despite the money. I understand having a livelihood, but still like be as creative as you possibly can be. So don't just, you know, go to work, think like they treat like a 9 to 5, like they just go to work in the morning at 9 to 5, you do the same thing that you did yesterday and then you go home. It's like, no, this is art, right? And if painters were to do the same painting non-stop, it wouldn't make any sense, but you know, that's what people are doing, and I feel like that needs to change.
As many thrive in capturing moments and creating moments on social media, as a profession, there is a lot that one needs to get right, as Gatahi reflects.
Work with the right team. I've worked with many different teams, many different people, and it's only recently now I've started working with the right people that I realized that, oh my God, I was wasting so much time working with people who are not serious, working with people who want to create content that you don't want to create. And just working with the right people on the right teams, on the right projects, it's a whole other level of just like even your videos look better, even your photos look better. Like it's just a better experience overall as a visual artist.
Here's a look at what's to come after the break.
I'm inspired by the day-to-day life. Like, you know, I wake up every morning, I might find an inspiration just by, you know, having my breakfast or, you know, going to work. And then that thought will kind of stick somewhere in my mind, and I will actually revisit it the next time I'm creating something.
This week on Crosstalk.
Our politicians are helpless to see what God has envisioned for Kenya. It is the people of the kingdom who can do that.
It's a bit too far-fetched, and therefore even those who drive it, they drive it from the agenda which they set to achieve, including corruption.
We are talking about national vision.
That's this Sunday at 8 p.m.
An award-winning designer and illustrator, Cyprian Kiswili is passionate about the design and development of consumer products with a specific interest in footwear. Today, we aim to have a better understanding of how he expresses himself on canvas and how that journey into art began.
I think I've been an artist as, you know, since I was a very young kid. You know, I would always be that kid who can draw in class, and so it's something that I also enjoy doing. But in terms of the designing, that is, I went to art school as well and design school, and so I was able to polish up on my skills. I would really thank my parents because growing up, like, I would always be encouraged. I would always get supplies of art, and so I would always feel that, you know, encouragement from them as well, from other friends, classmates in school. And so, yeah, that was my inspiration actually growing up, and I'm glad that it paid off.
As he grew older, the challenge moved to finding his style and consistency as to what inspires his work.
Especially in college, like where I did not know exactly how I was going to apply my artistic skills, you know, in venturing out and new in the, you know, in the art industry, and also learning from pioneers also. And so, yeah, I think at some point I was a bit unclear on exactly what I wanted to do, because there were very many things that you know, my talent could help me get through, such as, you know, illustrations, drawing, graphic design, interior design. And so I think at some point I really just settled on one. I'm inspired by the day-to-day life. Like, you know, I wake up every morning, I might find an inspiration just by, you know, having my breakfast or, you know, going to work, and then that thought will kind of stick somewhere in my mind, and I will actually revisit it the next time I'm creating something. So I would say, yeah, just the everyday life, lots of nature and lots of people.
Now we get into Cyprian's creative thought process, understanding materials and what it takes to put together a piece.
The same materials that I was using 3 years ago are actually quite different from what I use right now. I love that thrill of, you know, trying out new stuff. Currently I'm doing a series with mixed media that I use old newspaper collage and bring them together and, with my acrylic paints and try and create, portraits. Currently, I'm running a series of paintings. I call it the Mashujaa series or collection. I'm doing people who I consider heroes, especially Kenyans, mostly Kenyans. Actually, the 100 are going to be, just purely Kenyans. I've managed to do, right now I've managed to do 7, and this is my 8th piece, and I'm going to be painting and hopefully, so I've done the rest over years actually. It's not taken such a short while. Some artworks take a few hours, some takes weeks, months, and others take years. So it just depends with the speed, the complexity of the complexity of the subject, and then the motivation, like what's the motivation for me at that particular moment, and how fast do I want to create and finish that artwork.
His journey as a product designer began in university as he took on Bata's Shoe Challenge at a time when the company was celebrating 125 years of being in existence.
They call it the Bata Young Designers Challenge. And so, from my lecturer, she kind of could see the skills that I had, especially in illustration. And she asked me if I was interested in trying. Mostly the students that were doing it were from the product design. I kind of tried it, and I think, it was really a great moment to actually be the winner of the overall competition. I picked up some inspirations, especially you can see it's very full of texture, and there are some illustrations that I took. So I was actually exploring communicative symbols and hieroglyphs through time. You can see a bit of Egyptian hieroglyphs, and so kind of drawing those to how we communicate today using emojis. So it was kind of a journey through that, because I think during the year 2019, Bata was celebrating 125 years as a global shoe brand, and so part of also the theme was kind of going back in history and trying to see what has worked in history and what currently, what the future looks like.
After his experience competing at a global level, Cyprian now gets to work with Enda, a Kenyan footwear brand, as their product development manager.
We make running performance type of footwear, which is kind of different from what I had made in the past, and so it was really a fun learning experience in trying to transition from that thought process of just having fun, creating a fun shoe, to this is a shoe, this is the brief, this is how the shoe is going to cost, and these are the choice of materials based on, are they locally accessible or where do we get them.
Cyprian also became top in the Art Cafe Challenge that came under heavy scrutiny on social media due to its terms that were deemed unfit for whoever would come out a winner.
I just had fun just creating something. I really did not think whether I was going to stand as a winner, but fortunately my artwork stood out, and it was the overall winner for that year's competition. I think my interpretation was you can see you can see some giraffes, some cool giraffes with sunglasses, and the city of Nairobi landscape just behind them. And so that was my interpretation for Nairobi is really special because it's the only city in the only capital city in the world with a national park sitting right in the somewhere in the city. And so yeah, that was really something for me strong to come out and try to illustrate that and try to speak that. And yeah.
One of the best things that came with winning the competition was having his art pieces exhibited at one of Art Cafe's branches.
I've always had that dream to see my artworks, somewhere in a restaurant, or in a big cafe, somewhere in the world. I've always dreamt of that, and so that was really great to finally have that opportunity. And I was able to create new artworks, and as well as have some artworks that I had with me, and showcase in the Westlands Cafe for almost over a year. I sold quite a bit on the pieces, and was able to get people reaching out to me to talk about my art, and yeah, to just kind of appreciate it. And so that was really fun.
Pricing art pieces is one of those things that many artists struggle with, as there is always an underlying risk of underpricing.
Depends on very many things. Of course, I will not price my artwork as an artist who's been painting for years. You also have to think about who's going to be your target market, especially for the artworks, and of course how much time or resources you've put into creating the artwork itself. So I think once you have those clear, then it becomes easier to kind of in doing the pricing.
Despite having numerous success, Cyprian believes there is a lot he is yet to achieve as he reflects on his early days.
At some point, I think in my high school years, I'd kind of given up on my art, and I think at some point it was just a phase that I went through. But during that time, I was really discouraged. Like, wouldn't see myself picking up my art tools and being able to kind of continue creating. And I think that was because with practice you always get better. So during those few years, if I would just continued creating, who knows what skills I would have picked on from then.
Finding a balance between his work as a visual artist and product designer has not been easy, but he finds hope in the convergence of the two from time to time.
Of course, art is very close to design, but at some point there you realize that they are very different, because when you're creating art, you're creating it mostly from yourself, and you're thinking about how you're expressing yourself. Whilst in design, it's more of you're thinking about, you know, someone who's going to use this product, or probably what's going to be the impact of it, and the cost. There are very many thoughts involved in the thought process of designing, rather than the art. But yeah, I think I enjoy doing both, because you know, it's quite similar, because I use lots of artistic skills also in my design, and so it's quite fun. I feel like sometimes probably I may neglect this bit for a while, but still I'm still developing those skills and trying to, you know, strike a balance.
As the art piece comes to life, we leave you with thoughts on the art industry and the promise it has for many an uprising artist.
You know, art was a bit unclear to very many people on how they would take it as a career or a profession. But I think right now there are really very many avenues in what you can use your art skills to, you know, earn a living and have a career in it. And so I'm glad to see, you know, many people who are interested in art, kids as well who want to go to art school, design school. And so yeah, I would say it's really encouraging to see that, and it's a growing industry.
That's it for tonight's show. Remember, you can share your thoughts, questions and comments to the SMS line 20316 or WhatsApp on 0786 316 316. Next time on Hitasa.
Unacheki kama chakula za kitambo watu wako wanagonjeka sana. Unapata msee anaweza live hata 100 years.
Looking at the coming years, I see there's going to be a lot of difference, whereby people are going now to embrace this kind of food. Because when I was starting, I was telling people that this is a village experience in the city.